TYFU.
Salutations, Beth.
Howdy, Marilla.
Howdy?
I know, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's my least favorite greeting.
Yeah.
Is howdy.
Sometimes I don't say howdy because I think about how much you hate howdy.
I've told you this,
Yeah.
that I hate howdy?
Yeah. And sometimes I think about it and I don't say it because how much you hate it.
To me or in life?
In life, you're not even there. You're just influencing me. So yeah.
Well, thanks.
Very interesting that you said that.
Just wanted to mix things up. I wanted to set the tone.
Keeping things fresh. We're always discovering things about each other.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
here we are.
Here we are.
Back at the podcast.
Back in the red room.
Lately, we've been starting our podcast with today's in retail. Or today in retails.
Days in retail.
Yeah, and I think we officially have a call to the listener to write in with their
Today in retail? I don't know. Today in retails?
I don't know.
Days in retail. TIR. Wait, TIR?
DIR.
Okay.
This is all getting edited.
We want you. We've been sharing our stories about days in the life of retail. If you have any, please write them in. Now we have a formal call.
You know, speaking of writing in, I just want to shout out to our friends in Ohio who sent a really nice fan email to us.
Why, oh.
And also bought some merch off the website. So there's a plug for the website too. A thank you and a plug. A t-shirt.
A t-shirt.
There's a TYFU t-shirt.
That's cute.
Walking around in Ohio right now.
That's so cute. All right. Well, if you hear this, send us a selfie.
Oh, that would be
t-shirt,
awesome. Yes.
And we'll put it on the social.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Cool. Do you have any today in retails?
I don't have a negative one. And I know we really thrive on complaining about people.
Yeah. Last week you had a doozy.
Episode was rough.
A rager.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a rager. But I feel like I brought a positive one to the table.
You did.
So now it's your turn.
The bros. You had the bros.
The eco bros.
Yeah, I miss those guys.
Me too.
Okay, well, my positive one was, let's see what happened. I'm going to tell you a weird thing that happened.
Okay.
Then I'm going to tell you a thing that happened right afterwards.
I'm all ears.
Okay. The first weird thing that happened was that I went for a jaunt, a morning walk, as I often do.
Okay, normal.
Normal, not weird. But this time I weirdly went over to the Glenwood Cemetery.
Okay.
And I was wandering around and I saw the grave of an author whose books we sell in the store.
Oh, eerie.
This guy died like early 20th century. His name was U.P. Hedrick. He wrote a lot of agricultural manuals.
I like that.
Grapes of New York is a popular favorite.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I didn't realize that he was buried in Glenwood Cemetery.
As you were wandering the tombs.
Yes, and then later in the day, I was at work, and this woman was asking me about Grapes of New York. And I was like, U.P. Hedrick, Grapes of New York.
I know him. He's buried in my front yard.
I was actually just standing on his coffin this morning. How bizarre. So that was exciting for me. And I was all wrapped up in this moment with U.P. Hedrick and not even realizing that two ladies were in the store and they were talking to Barrow, a Stomping Grounds employee, about a picture, a portrait, a photograph, an antique photograph that we had for sale in the store hanging up on the wall. And the ladies asked Barrow, "Is this for sale?" And Barrow said, "Yes, it is." And the lady said, "We'd like to buy it. It's our grandmother."
What?
Yes. And
so this is just an old... How did you come across this photo?
Just in the course of doing business, you know, people
Someone
bring things
donated
in. Yes, or I bought it someplace. I don't really remember all the details
she looks serene and nice.
I've had her for a while. It was the frame that really got me. I mean, it's a charming photograph, but we're a frame store, so I brought it in. I didn't want to remove her from her frame. She was a sweet-looking woman.
Yeah.
Teenager, really. She was 16 when the photo was taken.
Okay.
So the grandmother was 16. It was framed beautifully. It was on my wall for sale. And
How long?
For a couple years now.
Years?
Yes. I've had it in the store for years.
Wow.
It's been moved around from place to place, trying to get somebody to notice it.
I mean, it makes sense. Even though a beautiful frame, not everyone is interested in just
some random photograph.
Some random photo of a 16-year-old
right
in their home. Until that day.
Until recently, when these ladies said, that's our grandma, we'd like to buy it. So Barrow thought they were joking at first.
Right.
And I was finishing up with the UP Hedrick lady. And Barrow came over and said, these ladies say that this photo is their grandmother.
Oh, she had to feel so weird saying that.
So I pivoted, and I approached the ladies, and I said, this is your grandmother?
Really get down to the bottom of it.
This seems like this was strange. And they told me, yes, they explained that they had seen the photo before. It was hanging for many years in the family homestead. What? Long story. And it was definitely, I mean, who's going to come in and fake that even?
I don't know. But one of my thoughts was, as you were telling me, are you sure? Like, maybe they're just saying that. Like, maybe they're just chronic. I mean, maybe that's too much of a skeptic of me. But, like, maybe
what
they're
a
just
weird way to
shoplift.
I know.
But, okay, it could work.
It did work because
you gave it to him?
I gave it to him. Like, what am I going to do? Okay, that'll be $38 for grandma. Like,
plus tax.
It's just...
No, I mean, I think that's the right thing to do. But I'm just saying, I mean, you never know. They could have just been like...
Scammers. The two classiest, most elegant, kindest, sweetest.
Soft-spoken.
Senior citizen. Scammers.
The worst
on the
kind. So this isn't a positive today in retail.
No,
this
is really. They were so sweet. I loved talking to them. I loved hearing about their family history. They loved getting the portrait for free because they were scammers. No, they were glad to get it returned to them, and I was glad to put it where it belongs. Right. It doesn't belong in my store.
Of course, because I'm sure you see stuff like that all the time, and it probably can be weird sometimes because
it's very
photos
personal.
are pretty personal.
Yes.
So then to just like put a sticker on it and be like $38.99.
Yeah.
It must feel weird.
Right. And I was trying to imagine myself in their position. And if I walked into a random store and I saw my grandmother Alice like hanging on the wall, that would feel almost invasive or intrusive or
like, that's mine.
Yeah.
Hey.
So I just thought they were very graceful about the situation and very classy.
That's beautiful.
So, anyway, kind of happy today in retail and kind of bizarre.
A reunion, a family reunion at Stomping Grounds.
And if anybody wants to see it, I did post a picture of these ladies and their grandma on Stomping Grounds social.
Yeah, I'll share it on the TYFU.
Okay, sounds good.
Stay tuned, guys. That's lovely.
And now a word from our sponsor.
You know how we've been inviting sponsors to join the TYFU family.
Yes.
And those sponsors help us to pay our bills. Mm-hmm. When we've shouted out for sponsors and invited people to join us so often, we've had local businesses.
Yes. Which we love.
Which we love.
To promote a local business that we love, and it is a beautiful relationship. They're supporting a local podcast. But we have a patron. We're delighted.
A private citizen.
A friend of the podcast
came forward and said, I'd like to write you a check. And this person, who I shall not name because
anonymous.
This person would like to remain anonymous, said that they just really like listening and find a lot of meaning and humor and touching, poignant stories, and they want to see the podcast continue.
Let's take this moment to say some nice things about
our anonymous benefactor.
Is very good looking.
Our anonymous benefactor
has a warm embrace.
Our anonymous benefactor
has excellent taste.
Our anonymous benefactor
has great comebacks.
Our anonymous benefactor
has a generous spirit.
Our anonymous benefactor
has nice hair.
Our anonymous benefactor
is a certified badass.
Our anonymous benefactor
is an excellent driver.
Our anonymous benefactor
fears no man. Thank you,
our anonymous benefactor,
for understanding. All Right. Now, do you want to have a regular scheduled episode now? Do you want to dig into that?
I don't have anything about retail to share this week.
Business as usual.
Business as usual. Little exhausting. Nothing terrible. Nothing fantastic. So
Let's just get into the show then.
Let's see what we're doing today.
I'm ripping the envelope this week.
It is your turn.
Okay, and here I go. Okay, the topic this week, Marilla, is succession.
Succession?
Not secession.
Oh, yeah.
Succession.
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 We shouldn't have said it so many times. It sounds weird now. I get it. Like when you're coming up into like multi-generational or perhaps an employee, like
I guess so,
like when you're
yeah.
taking over a business that you're a part
From
of.
previous owners. It's like a changing of the guard in the business.
Yes.
Do you
I
have
love
any
this.
experiences with this yourself?
Okay, so not quite, but almost in a sense. My mother and father, my father has passed, but my mother has continued his window cleaning and janitorial business. And they've had this business for many years, I think as long as I can remember almost.
How long? So your dad was officially the owner?
Yep.
And how long did he have this business before he passed?
Oh, gosh. I want to say he started it in 99, maybe 2000. So, and then he passed in 2011. So 11 years, I would say, at least ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then my mom has kept it going since. And now, as she's nearing the age where she's thinking about retirement, you know, these conversations are starting to happen. Like, do we want it to stay in the family? Do we want it to be sold? Blah, blah, blah. So it's not happened to me, but it's on a horizon soon. So I'm down to dive into this one. What about you?
Well, I'm just thinking my grandfather had the rug cleaning business. We've talked about that before.
Yes.
My uncle took it over, and it was then his business for many, many years. And then he sold it, and the person he sold it to quickly ran it into the ground.
Oh, no.
So I think he had it like 2 or 3 years, and then this
Ooh.
like 40 or 50-year
gonna
business
say.
was like just dead
Out.
that fast.
Isn't it crazy?
So succession can be tricky.
And painful.
Yeah, but I haven't had any real experience with it myself. I thought since you don't have much experience with this personally, and neither do I, we should invite a guest.
I think that's a lovely idea.
We have invited Sarah, Eighmey of Anthony Road Winery here in the Finger Lakes. Now, Anthony Road sponsored this podcast, and we gave
It's
them a
true.
5-star review on an episode, and I think we've mentioned them before.
So you guys are basically just a part of the podcast. Welcome, Sarah.
welcome, Sarah.
Hi there. Thank you. Lovely introduction.
How are you today?
I'm nervous, but I am okay. Thank you.
Oh, well.
You're not the first nervous person who's been
We'll
on this
shake that
podcast,
right out of you.
Sarah. Yeah.
Public speaking is not my forte.
But I'm going to
learning.
jump right in on that, Sarah, because I think you did give a talk on succession in public.
I
did. This is not your first
the truth
rodeo
is
with
out.
this.
Yes, the Eastern Winery Expo back in March in Pennsylvania. I talked about succession planning in a family winery business.
And like,
Yes.
this isn't even in public. This is just us.
This is intimate. Yes.
This
No,
is
I got
just us.
up in front of people, and they were all enthusiastic listeners. So, yeah,
well, that's
it was,
good.
It was great. Yes.
I bet they were, because do you find in the winery business in particular, I mean, I think farms tend to pass
Right.
generationally.
Yes.
And I think not a lot of people think about wineries as agricultural entities, but they truly are. Can you talk about that a little
Yeah,
bit?
so we started as a vineyard. Anthony Road did. I'll give a quick little background
Yes,
history.
please
should
do.
I?
Please.
I feel like everybody knows the history of Anthony Road and
don't.
Martini Vineyards, but
Not our listeners in Tennessee.
Hi, everybody in Tennessee. So Anthony Road was actually started as a vineyard back in 1973. My parents moved to the area and planted a vineyard, started planting on the current site that we're at. So they bought this land along Seneca Lake, the west side of Seneca Lake. A friend of them said there was some land for sale that was good for growing grapes. They said, what the heck, let's give it a try. They didn't know really how to grow a tomato. But they moved and planted a vineyard, started with 3 acres of fauche, I believe. My mother will correct me if I'm wrong. And quickly learned that there is a lot of trials and tribulations in agriculture, in growing grapes. You don't get a crop in the first year. So my father had to go find a full-time job to support the growing family. I have 3 siblings. My mother was hired, she hired help in the vineyard because she was left to raise the family, raise the kids in the vineyard. My father worked full time for Cornell. At that time, was at Cornell Experiment Station, which proved to be a lucrative job because they would help when we had troubles in the vineyard.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Very cool.
Yep.
And we carry them on today with Cornell.
UP Hedrick worked for Cornell. The dead author.
It all comes back. The history is so rich in this area.
Yes, it truly is.
Vineyards, because the vineyards were here first.
Right.
It wasn't until they passed the Farm Winery Act in 1976, I believe, that wineries could start selling their own product before they would have to sell it to a distributor and then buy it back. We sold grapes to Teller Wine Company. That relationship kind of changed in the early 80s. We were stuck with a bunch of grapes that didn't have a home. So we started Anthony Road Wine Company in 1980. We opened the doors in 1990 with the 89 vintage. So my parents and a good friend of theirs at the time, Derek Wilbur, was their winemaker, and that's how the business started.
So it was kind of started out of necessity in a sense.
It did.
It was a grape farm for those who aren't familiar.
Yep.
And then it was kind of like, well, what do we do with all these grapes?
Product that is,
grown.
literally raw if we don't do something with it. So had they been thinking, I know you can't speak for them 100%, but do you know, had they been thinking about processing their own grapes before that, or did they just have to pivot that season instantly?
My father thinks of things like that.
Yes.
I mean, he is quick to jump on things, you know, and so some of them are good things, some of them are bad, you know.
Win some, lose some.
Anyway,
that's right.
so, you know, that's another story altogether. Yeah, I guess. You know, we tried grape juice for a hot minute with some other vineyards in the area.
Right.
Created this grape juice brand called Vine Fresh.
Vine Fresh?
Yes.
Sounds nice.
Drink pink, it's Vine Fresh. It's a little ditty. You could probably sing it.
Cute. I'm going to look it up. I'll do a deep dive.
So anyway, the winery started in 1990. We opened our doors. So we're celebrating our 35th year this year.
So cool. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Let me pause, though, and ask you, Sarah, where were you in your life in 1990?
I was just going to say the same thing.
I was
my question.
in college. So growing up, we worked in the vineyards. We would have to get up early before school, and we pulled brush and tied during our winter and spring vacations.
Tied down.
Yes. Yeah.
Cold
we picked
winters.
grapes during harvest. I mean, we were always in the vineyard, but it was never expected of us to carry on the vineyard at that time, or when they started the winery, to go into studying viticulture or enology. Like, it was never impressed upon us that was what we had to do.
There was no pressure there.
No.
Okay. So, but was it, I mean, you said there are 3 of you?
There's 4 of us.
Oh, there's 4 of
Yep.
you. So was it just kind of a given that you had that as teenagers, like you had that job on lock?
No. We
No?
didn't
Did you
even
do other
think
things?
about it.
No?
We did not even think about it. Honestly, I think we all went away to college, and then from there went on our own and did other things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then what
Family
brought you back?
and the surroundings. Growing up with Seneca Lake in your background,
Literally in your backyard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Literally.
There's nothing like it. And I've lived in California, in Seattle, Boston, Florida. I think I hit them all. But there's nothing like
It does
the
pull
Finger
you back.
Lakes and Seneca Lake. And I'm fortunate that my husband is also from Penn Yan, and so it was easy to encourage him to move back to the area.
Let's go live on the
Have
lake.
you ever heard of?
Have you ever heard of the lake?
There's this little spot in upstate New York.
Man,
Okay,
yeah.
so you came back. I mean, I don't want to skip any important parts of your story, but did all four of you siblings leave and then come back
We all
at
all
different
left.
times?
At different times because there was just years between us. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think out of college we all left the Finger Lakes, except for my sister Maeve, who is a nurse. And she knew she wanted nursing, and
Went
the
for
farthest she moved to Rochester and was a nurse for a number of years. In
So,
Rochester.
did you just all happen to start coming back bit by bit, or did you make a collective plan? Like, hey, guys, let's talk about how it
Yeah.
happened that you all started reabsorbing into the winery.
I believe my sister Liz or my brother Peter, one of them was the first to come back. My brother had been living in Jackson Hole, Wyoming for 10 years and was a car mechanic.
Okay.
And his wife was or his soon-to-be wife was from Long Island. And so they came back. I don't know what the impetus for them to come back to the area necessarily was, but Peter took on working in the vineyard when they moved
it's
back.
a great spot for a mechanic.
Yeah,
There's
right.
a lot of
tractor equipment to
That's
fix.
one thing. My husband Joe is a winemaker, and he's like, man, the one thing I wish I knew more about was mechanics. So
It
you
could be
could
a curse or a
fix
blessing.
I know. You can fix the tractors and all the things that go wrong.
Yeah. So he was probably the first to move back. And eventually he became the vineyard manager. And then Liz moved back. She was out in Davis, and she moved back here and worked in the tasting room. And I moved back, and it was my husband actually who took the first job. He retired from the Navy, and my father asked him how little he could make. What was the least amount of salary
How enticing.
he would
What a
take?
family business move.
Yes. He interviewed for a position like to help out in the vineyard, and my father was like, "What's the least amount of money we can honestly pay you? That
What's
you
your
can
deal breaker number?
For you and for my daughter and my grandchildren to survive on.
What could you really just squeak by with?
Okay, but luckily I was working. I had a job.
Well,
I was a
thank
registered
goodness.
dietitian. Yes, I was providing at that time. But yeah, so
And so what?
yeah.
I mean, what was this job he was offering for no money?
just vineyard labor.
Oh,
Just
okay,
working
okay.
in the vineyard, but
Just something
that's
around. It's
you
so
know
much.
That's hard
Yeah,
work.
it's
Yeah.
so
It is.
much. It's such hard
Yeah,
work.
It is. So to find somebody to do it is a blessing.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. So then, everybody's kind of migrated back.
Everybody migrated back to the area. In 2013, we kind of all sat down as a family and looked at the business and looked at the winery and the vineyards and said, what do we want to do here? Do we want to be in it as a family, or are we going to let other people maybe start coming in? How is this going to work?
Yeah. Cause that's, I feel like it's a conversation, like going back to talking about what's going on with my mom. It's a conversation that you kind of want to start long before you have to start it, before something happens that you really have to make a decision and it's like rubber hits the road, someone gets sick.
Oh, you never want to make a business decision out of desperation.
So, I mean, how
Also-
old were your parents at the time? And
So this was 13 years ago. They were in their,
I'm going to write it down.
in their 70s.
Okay. Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, they've been working there their entire lives,
Right.
basically.
It's their life's work.
Yes. Yeah.
And Sarah, at that time, were they like, it's hard to let go? At that time, were they like, yeah, we can't wait to live our golden years in Florida, or we're going to be at this another 20 years, but we're in our
we should
70s,
plan.
but
Yeah.
we're still holding on. I don't like, what was their mood?
No, there's no retirement plan for them.
Yeah.
They're still there.
Yeah.
we finally have gotten my mom to kind of relax and do things. Like, it's okay for her to go and do things outside of the winery, which took a lot of cajoling. You know, she still feels guilty
Like
when
come
she's
in
not there.
shop at my store every now and again.
Yes, exactly.
You gotta kick her out.
Which is, I mean, it's lovely that she's found things to do, but I feel like it's late in life for her to, you know, to find these other avenues. And had we gotten in earlier and made the plan earlier, would they be in a different boat? I don't think so.
Because they love being there.
Yes,
They're committed to it. It's
exactly.
their lifestyle. It's
Yep.
what they've done since 1973.
Exactly.
And that's a long time. That's
Yeah.
in fact 52 years.
Yeah, I can get
Yeah.
that. I mean, I love what I do, and it's hard to think about like retiring in the conventional sense when you have your own like little empire that you've made that is your business and your passion and your life's work. It's hard to think about just like, all right, this is my last day, I'm free, because it doesn't feel like
no,
that.
no. Not when it's yours.
When it's your baby.
But let's go back. Okay,
Yeah,
so you
sorry.
sat down, my fault, because I wanted to know how your parents were feeling about it as you guys are having this family conversation. And this is interesting to me because I think it's hard enough when you're deciding something one person
Oh my
or
God,
two
yeah, this
person.
is my question.
But now you've got the parents and 4 children and their spouses. It's a 10-person conversation at least. So
How was that?
How was that?
Everyone was on board. I mean, at that time, both my brother and sister were involved in the business. We had just lost our general manager, so that was the position that was available.
An impetus, kind
And
of.
so that was where I came in, not knowing anything about running a business.
There's a lot of potential for awkwardness there. I mean, my siblings and I communicate pretty well. I mean, none of us have any vendettas at
That
least
you know about.
that I know about, or long-standing grudges that I know about. We all talk and we all get along. But it has been interesting thinking about approaching, you know, what to do and what's going to happen with this business, because it's like, yeah, is there one sibling that's kind of more available, invested, adapted to this part of it, that part of it? Is it weird if one speaks up and says, I'm going to take on all of this part and you're going to do this? Like, does someone take charge, or is everybody on the same page? Did you guys experience that dynamic at all?
Yes and no. My brother is the vineyard.
Okay. Yeah.
So
he's king of the vineyard,
yes,
in a sense.
he is king of the vineyard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of his thing. My sister Maeve recently came into the business. She and her husband moved to the area right around the pandemic time, and she came back to, and she worked. Now she helps us out, but she works for Peter, or does all his office and managerial stuff.
Yep.
On the vineyard side, so she kind of has her hands in that pot.
Okay. So there's a couple pots.
Yes. Yep. I'm more the winery. My sister Liz is more the winery.
Okay.
But we all have a say in everything. And no, we don't all always agree on how things are going,
Right.
or what direction we're going to take. And now we're getting to that point where, okay, what's going to happen next? Because
Right.
we're all getting old.
What's your plan?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that happened really quickly.
Right. Like nothing. 2013 was
Yes,
yesterday.
Yes, but no, it was almost 10 years ago. No, more than that, 12 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Which is crazy.
Yeah,
It's like that.
Yeah,
And 10 years
yeah,
go by.
Yeah,
And now,
yeah. And I think a winery or an alcohol business and a farm, there's so much tied into it. There's so many different things to think about. There's the brand, there's the people, there's the land, and how is that all going to be treated? And we want it to be sustainable for the next generation, so the next generation want to come in and
Right.
help out. But right now there's not there's 12 grandchildren, and they're
Right,
all
who's
off
the
doing their own
oldest?
thing.
Yeah, who's the oldest?
So the oldest is a major in the Air Force. He's a doctor. So
What?
He
doesn't have time to come in
No, he does
He
not.
doesn't wanna
fix a tractor?
He doesn't
No.
want to fix a tractor? Come
No.
Oh man! And what's the age range of?
Nolan will be 31 in September, and then the youngest would be Olivia, who is 12.
No, you're gonna find somebody in there.
Yeah. We're hoping.
Man, I know, but you never know too, because again, you spoke about how there was no pressure for any of you children to take it on, work in it, pitch in, other than just family.
Yeah.
Let's go back, though, to the 10-person conversation.
Okay.
Where
we're back in the
you
room.
guys decided, yes, you can do this together as a family. Your parents were thrilled. And so then you had to get legal about it?
We did not get legal about it until this year.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So we sat on that. Like, we agreed, yes,
Ooh,
we're going to come back into
for
this
you.
business or come into the business, but we did not start talking about it until we looked at our parents and were like, you're getting to the age where we need to start putting things into safe areas so that things don't get taken away.
Right. Legally, it has to
Yes.
be sorted out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that conversation started last year, but was finalized this year. So it took us 13
so
years
long.
to like really.
To make sure you liked your job?
Yeah. That's right. Or it's just easy to say, okay, we're all going to be back into this. And
Yeah.
it's all,
There's a lot of trust there,
yes.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of trust.
Yeah.
And I mean, if it was me, it's like I'll do anything to not have to sit down at a computer and do paperwork. So like I'd be like, yeah, it's fine. I think it's fine. Like if we're all cool, let's not worry about it. But there comes a point where you can't do that anymore.
Right. And we couldn't.
I mean, and was it besides just the drawn out nature of all that legality and paperwork? Did you guys remain on the same page, do you feel like, through that process? Or was there any shifting? Was there any like last second thoughts or like, okay, just kidding, tap out? Or
I think we've all wanted to tap out.
yeah, right?
Throughout the years.
Like,
Yes.
wait a minute, I don't
I've
know.
had enough. I'm not coming in for a couple of years. But you have to, it's a lifestyle. And I think we just have to keep that in the back of our mind, because I'll tell you, there's been a lot of investments, risks that we have taken, or I'm going to blame it on my father. I love you dearly, Dad.
That's okay.
I don't think he's a fan. I don't think he's a fan. Yeah.
You're not listening. But the winery doesn't come without a mountain of debt.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll be years before that is truly
A thing of the past.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. And so I think I have trepidations of passing that on to the next generation.
Right.
And they're savvy. The next generation,
Oh, yeah.
they're money savvy
Yep.
individuals. And they want nothing to do with it if it's coming with that debt.
Well, right.
That's interesting, because I think when we talk about Nepo babies, and they
Oh,
just are
Nepo babies.
inheriting like this vast empire of Seneca Lake real estate.
Yeah, yeah.
It looks very grand, and it is very grand, but it doesn't come for free. So
Right.
and
It comes with lots of assets.
yes, but those assets got bought with
also-
something.
yeah.
Right. Blood,
Asset
sweat, tears,
rich,
and
debt poor, right? Or what is it? How's that
mortgages.
saying? What's that saying?
I know.
Asset rich, debt poor.
Debt poor?
Right?
Cash
Yeah.
poor.
Cash poor. Cash poor.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. Thanks.
Asset rich, cash poor.
Yes. Yeah.
That is the classic winery.
Yes, it really is. I mean, and people look at it and they're like, "Oh, you're so lucky to have a winery and be da da da."
And you're such a wealthy woman. Oh my God.
Must be nice to meet the boss, Sarah.
Yes. No. We have to pay our employees before we pay ourselves.
Of
you know?
course,
It's
of
just
course.
Yeah, there's so
taking
much.
care of things.
There's so much.
There is so much.
And at the end of the day, it's a farm, and that's what I mean, for many farms, that's what it is. You have all this land and stuff that's worth something, but that doesn't always convert into cash.
Not at all.
I was talking to a guy, in terms of our expansion at Stomping Grounds, still working on that and will be for a long time. But I was talking to a guy who was going to do some work for us regarding the expansion. And he was telling me about his business history and what happened during the recession of 2008 and how he almost lost everything. And a lot of people did lose everything or almost lost everything. So it only relates because I was talking to him, I was saying to him, sometimes it doesn't matter how good a business person you are when things are happening outside your control. And we've talked about that with the pandemic or with construction or whatever other thing, catastrophes.
Disasters.
And in agriculture, that could be the weather and what that can do to your crop. So even if you guys are doing everything right, I know there's insurances and things like that, but it must be a different kind of stress working with the weather in the ways that you do.
Well, and insurance doesn't give you a bottled product, in the end, because we rely on
you rely on that bottle of product.
We rely on the grapes to put into that bottle. So if we don't have the grapes, our inventory is less.
I can't think of anybody I'd rather trust more though than my family if shit was gonna go down.
Right.
It's not that you want to take the whole family down at once, but at the same time, you at least have grown up working together. You've literally worked together since you were old enough to pick a grape.
Pick a grape, yeah.
So there's this understanding of how you all operate within your own family dynamic, and there must be some trust there. That maybe you wouldn't have in another kind of partnership. Can you talk about that?
I would hope there'd be some trust.
Sarah's like, I'm still looking for it.
But I'm going to say that they trust me to run the business. And that's putting an awful lot into me as an individual because, like as I said, my background is dietetics and
fruits and vegetables.
And yes, your daily servings. So there's a lot riding on my shoulders to make sure that I'm making the best business decisions for all these families. Right? For my sister and her family.
Yeah.
For my brother and his family. For me and my family. My husband is our sales manager. So we've got two people in the business.
Right.
And if something happens,
that's it, man.
That's it for us.
That's it.
We're out. We're done. Gonzo.
Right.
So there's a lot of trust. There's a lot of trust in my brother that he's going to do the right thing in the vineyard. And we'll have a crop at the end of a season, and that's it.
And really,
it's hard.
It has to be blind trust in a lot of instances because you can't be an expert at everything. And so you do just have to trust that your brother knows what he's doing.
And I do trust him.
And that you know what you're doing. Yeah. And, I think that is very unique in a sibling dynamic because just as much as I trust my siblings with my life, I also think they don't know anything about anything. And so it's a strange, when I think about that level of intricate partnership, it is so inspiring and cool. But at the same time, I think to myself, I feel like I boss my sister around just when she's like changing a light bulb. Like how I'd be like, wow.
I wish somebody would boss me around sometimes. I want somebody
Sarah,
to come in.
This is what I'm hearing from you. Like you sometimes feel, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it feels like you feel a tremendous amount of responsibility. And you feel like maybe you were brought up in the winery, but you weren't brought up knowing how to run a winery.
Exactly.
Right. So you've been learning as you go along, which is what we all do.
Right.
Of course. But in your case, you've got your whole family, not just your own children, not just your spouse, the whole extended family, your parents' retirement is all wrapped up in your ability to succeed. And it seems like that pressure maybe.
Thanks, Beth.
I was going to say, your shoulders look so big right now.
Let me explain to you the gravity of the situation, Sarah.
No pressure. Remember how we said we want you to relax? and be so chill here.
I just started working on the budget the other day, and I couldn't sleep that night. So now I'm never going to sleep. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man, but
But we sympathize in some ways. It's not the same situation, and a lot of our listeners sympathize with this idea of it's all riding on your shoulders, and it can be stressful. What do you do to chill out? I mean, especially since when you're spending time with your family, they're actually your coworkers. Do you get a chance to get away and rejuvenate?
every Christmas party is a work Christmas party.
Yes, right? And then I go home with my husband, who I work
your
with.
coworker?
I'm his boss.
God,
Yeah.
hey, that could be kind of cute.
No, I am fortunate that Mike and I enjoy spending time together outside of work. And I enjoy my children very much, but I do a lot of running and swimming. And I just took up stand-up paddleboarding.
Oh, yeah.
So
love it.
I do those things too.
So like
get
physical
Yes.
outlets.
Yep.
Important.
Or I'll sit and read a book and not feel guilty about it. Like, I'm okay with that.
And I think as a business owner, I mean, maybe this is cheesy, but I think as a business owner, sitting down and reading a book is it's an achievement because we all have 800 things going around and through our head. It's something. It's kind of a big deal to be able to sit down and just like churn through a book and get into that flow state as a business owner when you have a ping pong session constantly in your head of things going on. I think that that's important. Finding things like that. For me, it's sitting down at the piano and playing something that can just take my mind off of it for take my mind off the ping pong match for a while. What about you, Beth?
I had Sunday off this week. And I didn't have any definite plans for Sunday. And I was like, I think I'm just going to go to work.
Oh, my God. I was like, you didn't call me. Oh, you caught yourself. Good for you.
And I decided to take the child and do a little exploring of Ontario Pathways.
Ooh.
Which we've talked about on the Michael George episode.
Yes, we
remember
did.
that? He's Ontario Pathways is
He roams them.
long path through the woods and the fields of the Finger
And
Lakes
you might
region.
find Michael George
and you
there.
might find
Or Beth.
now
Beth.
So I did that, but it was really hard to not just go to the default because I've got a lot going on at work right now.
There's a lot to do.
There's a lot to do. I didn't have any pressing obligations, which I often do have on a day off.
Yeah.
So I almost didn't know what to do with myself for a second. Then I was like, hold on a second, lady.
Yeah, easy.
Reel it in.
Leisure a little. It's time to leisure. Okay, I just had a question for you, Sarah, pop into my mind. I'm wondering, as currently, and you don't have to tell me like who's getting the baton or like what the legal entity is going to be, but I imagine that your parents are the owners of the winery right now.
The winery is separate from the vineyard.
Oh, okay.
So
It's two separate
It's
entities.
two separate entities. Martini Vineyards is the vineyard, obviously, and that was owned 50-50 by my parents. So they owned 100% of that. The winery, we have shareholders, but as family members, we're the majority of the shareholders.
I have it.
So my parents' shares have been put into a trust, so they're protected there from on the winery side. And then the vineyard side is now in a trust as well. So
Smart.
yes, everything is in a trust.
It's buttoned away. That's what you
Buttoned
did
up.
with the legal. So, Sarah, when you went to this conference in Pennsylvania with the Eastern winemakers, were you invited to speak on this topic in particular?
Yes.
Somebody had their eye on you,
Yeah.
and they said,
They're
who's
doing it
an
right.
expert on this is Sarah.
Or maybe not an expert, but is experiencing it, is
Yeah.
going through it,
Yeah.
and can speak firsthand to how we are going about it, whether it's the right way or the wrong way.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds
It's
pretty
not.
graceful, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
Like,
see. Yeah,
well,
I mean,
time
it
will
is.
tell,
It is.
but-
Yes. Yeah.
What were
Yeah.
some of the points that you thought were important to convey to your audience there that, maybe aren't necessarily or could be specific to winemaking or winery running?
I think the sooner you start talking about it the better off you'll. I mean, just have that conversation way before it's even time. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Because you never know what's going to happen, especially in a family business.
I mean, right. My father passed away way before anyone expected it. And then all of a sudden, my mother's running it and raising children. And if things had been put into place differently, who knows what would have happened. It's not really a shoulda, woulda, coulda, but it's kind of like it's never too early to kind of have that ending.
Yep.
Not exit strategy, but
just start having the conversation. Yeah. And not everybody is going to be on the same page at the same time, but I think the more you talk about it, you can kind of come to something.
It can be a little bit awkward, though, especially if your parents or whoever's parents, not necessarily Sarah's or ours, but if the older generation is still very active and aren't the sorts of people who like to look at
mortality,
yes, or even being infirm in any kind of way. It's really
or even
awkward.
letting go of control.
Right.
Yes, I think that's another thing to talk about, too, because now your mom is the sweetest woman I've ever met in my life.
Can confirm.
Hello.
Can confirm.
Hello.
We love you, Ann.
But I imagine she had ways of doing things that were deeply entrenched in her and might have been hard for her to let you guys take over and change. Can you talk about that in any way?
It's been very hard for her.
Yeah.
And I will say that, yes. And she's been a gem of a human being trying, she'll say things, but then she'll catch herself and be like, okay, time to move on. But it's been very hard because she did so much in the business. And she was hands-on from the vineyard. And then when they started the winery, she was the one who made all the sales calls. She went from liquor store to liquor store in her car.
God bless her.
Yes. But this was before there were cell phones or, internet or anything.
Cold calling, man.
She was cold calling, and then she would go and do the delivery. So she put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this business. And I think she's very proud of us because she looks at all of us and says, I don't know how you do what you're doing because you're just you're doing it all. And we look at her and we're like, we're doing it because we learned from you.
Right.
And some of the things we're doing are different than what she would do. And that's just a generational thing. I think it's just hard times change. People change.
Times change. And also just brains are different. Like the way that I build a system is different than the way one of my managers might build a system. It might make a lot more sense for my manager to do it one way than what I have been doing. And if I want them to do it, why force them to do it the way that makes sense to me if we get the same end goal or we get an even better product at the end? And so, I imagine through those years of making cold calls, trucking wine around, delivering, being a part of the vineyard, your mom had to have built so many systems that made sense in her mind, even aside from generational differences, just personally, personality-wise.
Yeah.
And then, within a family, me and my mother, we tick differently. And we could do the same project and do it entirely differently. I can't imagine what that has been like.
It hasn't been easy for her. But, sorry.
How about for you?
Yeah, that's the next question.
That's my next question. Has it been easy for you?
No, it has not. It hasn't. They've let us really take the helm and do things and move things forward in a new direction, right? Which is important if you want this business to survive. And I think they realized that once they said, okay, you can have the reins. The first thing that I was tasked with when I came back on board was to create a new to have a new label, a new wine label made. When I came on, the labels they looked almost like encyclopedia bookends. They were very austere and masculine. And on liquor shelves, they kind of got lost. There was gold and it was just they didn't stand out.
A little more traditional.
Yes. Yeah. So we hired a designer and he sent us some images, and the one that we chose to go with, my father was like, you can't read that. Nobody's going to like that. And he, like, we butted heads like you wouldn't believe. And that was the one that we chose. And now he can't say enough about it. Like, that's,
does he remember that he fought against it? Does he admit that?
Yeah. No, he wouldn't admit that. Oh, no. No.
I love that.
No.
I love that.
But yeah,
there's just those moments. I mean, it has to be. And you're so familiar with your family that butting heads with your family members looks a whole lot different than butting heads with just a stranger employee, in my opinion.
Yeah. They went to California for maybe 2 weeks for business and whatnot, maybe I guess it's almost 10 years ago now. And we painted the tasting room while they were gone.
Without telling them?
Did you didn't tell them?
We might have said we're going to make some changes. Because it's the quiet time of year. Yeah. And now would be the time.
It's a bold color.
So the tasting room before we painted it was Mom and her good friend Linda Lefkoe put their heart and souls into it. There was stenciling and painted floor and all of this stuff, and
very beautiful.
But it was time for change.
It was time for a change.
It was time for a refresh.
You need some refresh in there. So we painted it a dark color. We painted the floors. We took down all the
everything.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Everything.
And were you and Liz like, okay, this is what we're gonna do when Mom and Dad go to California? Were you, or
pretty much? Yeah.
Did you feel like, I mean, but then again, that like family business slash succession dynamic is so funny to me because it's like you're making a choice that's great for the business. You're taking over a lot of the aspects of the business.
And it's your decision to make.
And it's your decision to make.
Right.
But you still had to feel like you were going to get in trouble. Like big trouble.
Yes. You might get sent to our room.
You're going to get sent to your room.
Grounded for a week.
Yes.
Yes.
How did it go?
Crazy.
Yeah. How did it go?
They were like, I think when they first walked in.
It was
not
all
the
done.
same.
But it was all done?
It was done for the most part, yes.
Wow.
So this is the thing too, like about family. You want your parents' approval so bad.
Well,
you
that's
want to
true,
make
too.
them proud. You make this bold decision, and you want your parents to be excited. And to maybe have them express some hesitation or even disappointment that gets to the soul of a person.
I think we kind of expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were ready.
You know, we knew they weren't going to be on board. But now when they're standing in the tasting room and they hear people walk in and say, oh, the space is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you know.
And you just look at him and go,
Yeah.
You hear that?
Yes. Yeah. So they just needed some affirmation from the public to come in and say, yes,
Oh, I
you
love
did the
that
right
too.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
What place are you in the order of siblings?
I am the second oldest. So it's my brother.
Oh, me too.
Brother's the oldest, then me, then my sister Maeve, and then my sister Liz is the baby.
Who's the bossiest?
Oh, gosh.
It can't be you, Sarah. You're too
I
nice.
don't know. I don't know who the bossiest is. Maeve is the friendliest and most outgoing and bubbliest.
God, you people are nice.
Liz is
Like there's somebody in the family nicer than Sarah.
Peter. I love you, but he is Eeyore. He's
Eeyore?
He's Eeyore. He's
But he's
grumpy.
not bossy.
He's not bossy. No.
It has to be Liz.
Liz is not bossy.
Oh my God. None of you? I'm an asshole.
I think I would be the bossiest one, if anything.
Okay.
But yeah, Liz is not bossy. Liz is kind and generous, and
God,
yeah.
This is why they can do it.
Yeah.
Because they're all nice.
Nice and graceful.
Yeah. Well, that's not the way to run a business, though, you know.
Well, that's true too. Sometimes you do have to have that like meanie.
And there's not one of us.
There's not
like
one
I'm
of
afraid
you.
to like talk to an employee that needs some talking to.
Oh, girl. I hear you.
You can come back for another episode for that one. Oh my God. So that is fascinating to me. No bossy ones.
I don't think our parents weren't bossy people.
No, I know. Your parents are
so
lovely, sweet
I don't
hearts.
know. Yeah. I kind of speak what comes off the top of my tongue, which isn't always the nicest thing to.
All right.
Like, sometimes I don't have a
money's on
filter.
Sarah. My money's on Sarah. Sarah's the bossy one. Oh, man.
So is there anything that you would do differently now, being in it for 13 years, if you could go back to that 10-person discussion? What do you wish you knew then that you know now? Is there some way that you would have approached it differently besides sooner? You mentioned that you would have started the conversation sooner.
Yeah, I think I'd have to go way back to when they started the winery.
Oh, yeah.
Just a different way of starting it. It's the building that we're in now is huge, and
Right.
do we need all that space? Like, is that
It is
space
cavernous. Yeah.
necessary? Because we don't do events. Sorry, my brother would like us to do events, but like
It's so
weddings
much.
and that kind of thing. But
So much.
it's a whole
It's a whole
other
other
beast.
business.
Yes.
It's
One
a
of
whole
the
other
12
entity.
Yes, it is a
Grandchildren
whole-
can start that entity.
Yes, and
right.
that's what those grandchildren keep saying. They,
Yeah.
well, this is what you guys need, because they all have opinions on
No,
what we
this
need
is
to be
what
doing.
you guys
Yeah.
need to do.
Yes, yes, exactly.
I think you're going to have some. I think you're going to have some
Somehow.
good candidates
We'll see.
there, pal.
So
Yeah,
you would have made the building different.
So we would have done things, probably we all would have done things a little bit differently in the beginning, but now we're doing what we can do.
Yeah.
And it's
so-
hard in this economy and in the wine business and the alcohol business.
Yeah.
To stay abreast of the latest and newest. And we're not chasers. We don't chase things. We don't chase canned wines. We don't chase low alcohol, no alcohol. I mean,
Right,
wines
right.
from the Finger Lakes are low in alcohol, everybody.
Right.
Because we're
And that's on God.
Yeah.
Trend alert.
But if you don't want to drink, don't drink. But
That's
don't
right.
say that,
But you're not out there
Yes.
like chasing the next new
No,
fad. You're
no.
keeping it classic. But I think
Yes.
that's why Anthony Road and Martini Vineyards has become such a
Yeah, let's talk about
staple.
that. This
It
is
is
an
a-
iconic winery
Yeah.
in the region. A lot of clout.
so well
great
respected.
reputation.
Yeah.
I mean, OGs too, right?
Yeah.
We do OG tours, an owner guided tour as well. Yes,
Yeah.
but yes, we are one of the first wineries. Being 35 years old,
Right.
We are still family owned and operated, which
Right.
is hard and
It's a huge deal.
right?
And I think it's important to have, I'm so glad to hear that you're having the conversations about succession, because I feel like at this point, for people who are listening around the world or far, far away from this wine region, it's an interesting point for us in this region, because a lot of owners are aging out, because a lot of people are trying to sell. In the next 5 to 10 years, there's a lot of shifting that's going to happen in this region, just because some of the OGs are getting ready to retire, or they don't have someone to take it on, or they don't have a family that works so well together. And so I feel like this topic of succession is applicable to so many businesses, janitorial, as I said earlier, with us. But
If the Martinis manage to keep this multi-generational, I mean, this is so much pressure too, but you could be like one of those families in
Beth
France.
is shoveling it on,
Yeah.
Sarah.
Like a couple hundred years of martinis in the wine region in the Finger
We
Lakes.
got a long ways
You
to
need
go.
a chateau, but that'll come.
I mean, if you
That'll
look
happen.
at the Stamp family who own Lakewood Vineyard, I think
Yeah.
they might be 5th generation. And
wow.
Dr. Frank, they're
Yep.
they're
getting up there.
generational as well. And
Taylor
so,
Wine Company,
Yep.
it's been around
Yeah.
for a while. But yeah,
Yep.
there's a lot.
There are some, but there's
It's hard
after
to
that.
do.
There's not a
fewer
lot.
and fewer.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
fewer and fewer. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's what's kept us too, is that we've maintained our focus on wine. Right, that's what we are
Rather
first
than
and
weddings or whatever else.
Yes,
Mhm.
and Peter Beecraft, our winemaker, is consistent in his craft and consistently makes a great product because my brother consistently gives him the best grapes that he can because it starts out in the field. And so I think that has helped us be who we are and continue to be who we are and be proud of who we are and what we do. We want people to come in. We want to see bottles of wine on tables. We want people to sit down at a meal and share a bottle of wine.
And trust that.
Yes.
I mean, in a way, the trust between you and your siblings and your parents and eventually, your children, your children's children, whatever happens there, that level of trust translates really beautifully into the bottle because you want the consumer to have that trust. And I think
I think what you sometimes see is like a work ethic gets diluted after generations, right? Your parents must have been super hard workers and they raised super hard workers. I imagine your children have spent some time in that vineyard, doing some hard work. I think, though, sometimes you see in multi-generational businesses that when the business is so established, the younger generations don't realize what it took to build it and, how precious it is and special and unique it is. They sort of, no fault of their own, but they take it for granted. They grow up with it.
Right.
So I think that's a risk that many family-owned businesses through multiple generations have to kind of be be
like not just hand it to the kids. Like you have to earn
get
it.
Out there. Yep.
Yeah, and we put at least my 3 sons and Nolan, the oldest grandchild, all worked in the vineyard. I forced my boys. When they were 13 years old, I'm like, you got to get out there. We did this. You can do it. You need a job. I think there were a lot of naps taken, but, for the most part, they kind of learned how to work.
Right.
And that's not easy work.
Was there any kind of like trepidation? Did you feel like your parents had any trepidation that you and your siblings were not...
Were you up to the task? Do you think they thought...
Giving it the same weight?
Yeah.
I didn't think... They didn't think twice about that.
Oh,
no, They were
good.
excited.
They were familiar with your characters.
Yes,
Right.
Yeah.
And I really think fear is poisoning in any small business. Like, not that I'm never fearful of stuff, but I just feel like it's such a... You don't want to make a decision off of that, but I have to imagine it would be a temptation to have that feeling of being like, okay... Do you really get it?
Yeah.
Can these kids do it?
Yeah.
Can they hack it?
Well, I think they knew we could because they raised us. And we, grew up with good values because they instilled them in us. And we're hoping that our kids have those same values, if not,
well, your kids are
a little
delightful.
watered down, but... It certainly wouldn't get handed to them. Like, they'd have to work hard to take over the business.
Right.
Because it's not an easy takeover. Like, you have to work.
Yeah, it's not an easy takeover, and essentially you have to become a almost permanent employee before you can even begin to fathom taking over something like that. So whether that's an employee that's not related to you or your child, you have to put in the work.
Was there a shift in your personal psychological landscape when you went from being an employee to being an owner?
Yeah. I think so.
Talk about it.
No, I mean, they're just, when I was an employee, I would work for a day and then go home and not think anything of it. Right. But
those kooky customers.
Yeah. But, as an owner, everything is taken to heart. Like any comment, any review, anything.
You're counting how many people are walking in and if they're walking out with bottles.
Yeah. Well, and can I talk about this? We had a review, I think it was like on a Sunday, and it was a Google review and it was 1 star. And this gentleman said, yes, but he said that we were racist. He and his special Indian friend came in and we were very discriminatory towards them. And I read that and I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck happened?
Right.
Like, this is not who we are. I know who was working that day. I know everybody.
Right.
And there's no way in the heck that anybody would treat somebody like that.
Yeah.
So that really disturbed my whole Sunday. And then I was like, the next day I went in, I was like, okay, think about this. Who was this person? What? And everybody was trying to think. They're like, no, nobody could come up with, they couldn't identify who this was or no. And so I went to respond to the review and said, please,
let us make it right.
Give me a call because I want to know exactly what happened so I can address this and better. And then I went to respond to the review, and he had changed it completely and totally to my special Native American friend with a helmet, and you made fun of his helmet.
What?
And
fake.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Can't be real.
No, I'm not sure. My sister's like, well, there were a group of guys that came in, and one of them had a helmet on that had a GoPro on the top, and I was like, oh, cool hat or something like that. But so it's just,
my God.
but I lost sleep.
But you lose sleep.
Yeah, that's my business. That's reflecting badly on who we are and what we do,
and your whole family.
Yes. Yeah. So I digress. Sorry.
No,
I really
totally
didn't answer that
example
question.
of
But
how it eats at you.
Yeah.
If you were an employee, I doubt you'd be even reading your Google reviews, much less losing sleep over them.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But that brings me to another question I had. When you said just now you were agonizing about this review and you said that's not who we are. I'm just curious to know, in a region that's full of wineries, who do you think Anthony Road is? I mean, what is your identity based in being a family winery? Do you think, and related, do you think all your siblings are on the same page about the mission statement of the winery, whatever that is?
Well, we did all sit down and come up with the mission statement together.
Yes.
Yep. We all came to, that was a task. We hired a business consultant actually to help us kind of organize things and come up with a business plan.
Can you speak to what the mission statement was or how you think Anthony Road stands out in the region?
That we are a family-owned entity, but that we invite everyone to our table to sit down and have wine with us and bring wine back to your table, to your family and friends, because it is an everyday part of who we are and what we do. It is I wouldn't say it's our passion necessarily, but it's part of our life, right? It's part of our lifestyle. We're proud of where we are, where our winery sits. It's a beautiful view. I mean, and we want to share that with everybody.
Yeah.
It was interesting when you were talking just now, the listener couldn't see it, but you looked south.
Oh, yeah.
You looked south from my house, picturing the lake.
To Anthony Road.
Picturing where Anthony Road sits overlooking the shores overlooking your own grapes.
Yeah.
And the look on your face to me said it all. And it's how we feel living in the region. This is not an ad for the Finger Lakes, but it sort of is an ad for the Finger Lakes.
If someone from the Finger Lakes, wants to sponsor this episode, just let us know.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's what sets us apart, is that we are really family owned and operated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we're
connected
proud
to
of
the
it.
land,
Yes.
super connected to the place.
And gracious with sharing it. Gracious when it comes to sharing that place, that beautiful place that you have. I think that you feel that when you go into a business like yours, when there's been so much love and life work put into it, you feel like you're welcome at the family table when you go there. So,
well, growing up, there was always a doorbell and
ding dong. People would just show up.
People would just show up, and we'd all have to move around the table to make room for these people that Dad said, "Oh, come on in. We've got more food."
Were any of you left-handed?
No.
Oh.
No.
See,
none of us
that
were
immediately
left-handed.
gets you. You don't have a neighbor when you're left-handed because you're going to elbow them all night.
No.
I think it's interesting, though, that this brings it full circle because we're talking about succession within a family. And the whole identity of Anthony Road is family and the family's connection with each other, the family's connection with their neighbors and the wine region in general, the family's personal connection with the land. So the succession part of it is so integral to the the business. And that's kind of fascinating because
A matter
if
of
you
course, kind of.
were to sell it outside the family, the winery loses its identity, its soul, if
Beth,
you
you
will.
are heaping on the pressure. Heaping on the pressure.
Welcome to my home, Sarah.
grandkids.
This is how we operate.
But you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
It would not be the same.
It would not be the
It
same.
would not be the
So,
same.
well, no matter what happens in the future, it's special now.
It is.
And
Do
I hope-
we all, I'm sorry, didn't mean to
go
cut you
ahead.
off, but we all do fantasize sometimes about somebody coming through and offering,
Of course.
you know, multi-million.
$8 billion.
Yes. Oh, it'd have to be more than
Yes.
8 million, maybe like,
Oh, $1 billion. No, put a
12.
B on
Oh,
it.
a billion,
putting an
yes,
offer together.
yes.
Putting a B on
We
it.
like to throw around the number 15 million here and there for our own businesses, but
So
we
it is
don't
for
have the
sale for
property,
the
you
right
guys. No. We don't have the acreage.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Land is priceless. Like
Yeah.
I value the land more than anything else.
Yeah.
And it's becoming a hotter and hotter commodity around here.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you guys are doing a pretty good job of this whole succession thing. I should start talking about it now with Joe about
With
our
your mom.
business.
Yeah. Oh,
And yes, I mean, we're beginning to have these conversations with my mom. So, I mean, start talking about it early is what I'm getting.
And
Consider
not all families get along.
oh, sure.
You know,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
fortunate that we
Right.
all do get along and that our parents aren't riding our coattails. They're
Right.
letting us
They're
do
letting
it
you live.
really the way that and my father likes to say we're giving them the business, you know, because he's giving us all the debt that comes with it as well. But he's prouder than a peacock that this
Yeah.
is what's happening.
Yes.
And he would be the first one to, you know, shout it to the world. So we're
functionality
fortunate.
would be
Yes.
recommended.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you're
Because-
not functional, don't worry about it. Like, you don't have to continue. I think there's probably pressure in some businesses. Like,
yeah.
like, okay, it's a family business, but I can't stand my brother. You don't have
This
to.
would be a much more interesting episode if the Martini family was in
we're
complete
feuding.
chaos.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Can you guys wait the feud?
Come back in 5 years, Sarah.
Yeah.
But there have been lots of tears, so it's not, you know, it's not all peaches
For
and
part
cream.
2 of this episode. But yeah, you know, functionality I'm sure helps. And then I did hear my ear perked up. I did hear you had a business consultant come in and work with you guys a little bit. Can't hurt.
Nope.
Can't hurt.
Nope. Greg McConnell, I'm going to give you a shout out, Greg.
Ooh, shout out.
From
Where'd you
Farm
come up-
Credit East.
Okay, I was
Yes.
going to say, where'd you
Yep.
come up with
Oh,
Greg?
Farm Credit.
No,
Yeah, they're great.
no, fantastic group to work with, and he really helped us come up with a plan. Are we following that plan? You know,
Greg's not
mostly.
listening to
but
this.
yeah, we're trying our darndest. And,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's coming along. But that was a huge help because we're not business people, and to have somebody come in from the outside and look at it from the outside.
And make some recommendations.
Yeah.
Just unattached in a sense.
And he was actually the one, we hired him to do the business consulting, and then we had him come back when we were starting to talk about succession and making sure that mom and dad's interests and everything were safe. He came back in and recommended some lawyers to us that were in farm succession planning. And so, yeah, he was invaluable.
Can't hurt to find some good consulting in your
Now,
business.
last time I was in the tasting room, I did not notice like huge portraits of your parents up on the wall.
Yeah,
as,
when
like
is that
labeled
gonna happen?
founders.
Yeah.
And have they been pressuring you for that?
Yeah.
No, I think they wouldn't want, no. They don't talk about themselves. They talk about everybody else that helped them get to where they are.
Gosh, this family was just the
They're
wrong
so
family to have feature on this show.
You're so stinking nice, you
Yeah.
Martini people.
Yes, that is a reputation they have.
But it is, yes.
Of course.
And
Well,
we
it's
love
a
you
curse and
for
a
it.
blessing because my parents would give it all away. Like,
They
if somebody
did.
needs something,
Oh, yes.
they're happy to give them. Oh, sure, you can have 5 acres of land to, do
I love
this,
it.
or you can do. Well,
Yeah,
when you're
but
running a business, it's not
tough.
really.
It's tough stuff. It's tough stuff.
People learn the hard way that we that the children were taking over the business, because we would say, we're not donating to that cause. We're not doing this. We're not giving that. We had to rein some things in, because there was a lot of damage control.
Of
but
course.
at that time, that was what you did.
Did you know thoroughly what you were getting into when you took that over? Like, were you looking at it from afar thinking, when I'm the boss around here, we're going to be like, no. Or when, because Sarah's so mean.
Sarah's the bossy one.
I guess what I mean to say is like,
Sorry, Little League.
Boy Scouts? No way.
No way.
That's a bad example, but
Yeah.
Cancer, good luck with that.
Oh, the real juicy details of Anthony Rowe.
But I mean, I guess my question really is, did you have any foresight, or were there many surprises when you took over? Were you looking at it from a distance saying, when I'm in charge, I'm going to make these changes? Or was it like, holy crap, why are we giving money to this person, or giving away, land rights to this person?
It was more the holy crap. Like, why are we doing that? Like, I didn't,
This could be a 3-hour episode.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, because I feel like I have so many more questions, and it's all over the place. But what about 1980 when this happened?
Yeah.
Or what about 1973?
Yeah, what about the grape juice?
What is the song?
Drink pink, it's fine crush.
You had a lot of holy crap moments.
There were some holy crap moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about any of them in
I was
particular?
going
Is
to
that
say, you
too
have
personal?
anyone that jump out?
And if you want to say no, we understand, but tell us anyway.
We'll edit that part out.
Maybe.
I think it's just trying to wrap your head around borrowing money from Peter to pay Paul, and trying to bring the debt into a manageable. I'm holding my hands in a ball.
Yeah,
a manageable little ball. That was my holy crap.
Buckle the belt.
Yes.
Around
it. Yes. Yes.
That had to
because
take some muscle.
there was a lot of borrowing money from entities and paying them back, but at some point it has to stop, and you have to start chipping away at that debt. Mm-hmm. And so that was my holy crap.
That was your holy crap. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
fair. And some businesses, I mean, I'm no expert, but I know that some businesses require more debt than others. My two little shops require much less debt than any farm.
Yeah, farms have lot of debt.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's not, and then with debt comes time that it takes to get rid of it. And so who's to say? I'm sure there were things that could have been done differently, but at the same time, at the size of what you guys have, it could just be that now is the time when you take in to buckle the belt, like when you take it on to buckle the belt, and
So that you don't pass it on to another generation.
Well, that's what and that's what I'm trying to avoid.
Like, and it's
or limiting their burden.
Yeah.
The next generation's burden.
And a lot of businesses don't even get to the point where they get even close to the buckle. They don't even get close to the point where they can even think about buckling that belt and moving into a season of less debt and pressure for the next generation. So that is an accomplishment, I think, in itself.
I'm far from there yet, but we're working on it.
That's the new season on the horizon, something that's inspiring to me. And I'm so glad you came to talk about this, Sarah, because it's something that is so fascinating, and I'm going to be faced with it soon in a different, sector. Beth, you'll be faced with it eventually. In whatever way
Maybe.
it looks.
My child at this moment says no way, but so did
perhaps
you
a
and your
buyer,
siblings,
though.
Sarah.
That's still succession.
That's still succession. We didn't even talk about that.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
But all this to say, we're all going to be, as business owners, we're all going to be faced with it. And I think that it's a really inspiring place to see you in a place of succession, and also with, in a sense, fresh goals on the horizon that are sustainable. Attainable, time will tell.
Who knows?
But sustainable for the next generation of successors.
Sarah, did you watch that show, Succession?
I did not, but my husband did religiously.
Is it just like your family?
Yes, completely. We're ruthless, absolutely ruthless, flying around in helicopters.
Oh man. Well,
I guess,
we'll have to do part 2.
There's so
Beth.
much more
That's
that we
right.
could talk about.
We'll do part 2.
Okay.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you,
here
Sarah.
today,
Oh my
Sarah.
goodness!
Yeah.
Thanks for having me,
And thanks for
Appreciated
listening
it.
to the podcast.
Yeah.
Sarah's also
Thank you
a
for
listener,
putting it
guys.
out there too. It's really enjoyable.
Yay.
Chat about the biz, it is the way it is. Thank you for understanding.
We sincerely thank you for understanding. Please visit us at tyfupod.com to learn more about the show, share prompt ideas, or tell us about your own small business experiences. We may include your story in a future episode. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube at tyfupod or at tyfupod.com. Our theme music was composed by Marilla Gonzalez. The show is produced by Kelly Walker. Too bad for Kelly Walker.
So I'd like to think we're all on the same page,
Yeah.
but
Somebody's burning the house down. Sounds like it's past. Yeah.